Tammy's got a channel on YouTube, she shines. The fake bake diaries, crafting in her own sweet time. She'll show you how to make fake ice cream that glows, giant gumdrops and cotton candy, whimsical treats she knows. Grab your scissors, get your glue. The crafting's just begun with a sprinkle of imagination.
Did you think I bought these at Hobby Lobby? Well, I didn't. I made them all myself, and I'm going to show you how. Today, we're going to be making these amazing flat-topped gumdrops. Isn't that gorgeous? So let's get started.
Okay, I'm excited to make these. I love giant gumdrops, and it's always so difficult to find a shape for them. So these gumdrops here, these are actually just little garbage cans that I got at the dollar store, and they have such a fabulous shape to them. I also have a little bit of foam board with me. For the gumdrops, there's two different styles that people are used to. This one here, which more of a flat top and slim, and then other gumdrops for people in other countries, they're much more rounded. So I have two different kinds. So this is the ones with the flat top, but if you do like the other ones that have a nice rounded feel, I do have another video that you can check out, and it'll show you how to make the other rounded top gumdrops. I have 3 of them to make. I like to make things in 3s for decorating, of course. I'm just going to take this foam board that I got at the dollar store, and I'm just going to draw a base because I want to just be able to have a base at the bottom of my gumdrop. So there's 1, and there's 3. Now I'm going to put that aside for a minute. And you're going to find this with a lot of shapes that you want to do if you're working with plastic. If you're using bowls or these little garbage cans or anything, you're going to find that they have these divots in them that you probably don't want. What I do to fill those is I just take my DAP, Fast and Final, lightweight spackling, and I also take my original Gorilla Glue, because it will stick to plastic. And all I want to do is give this a light filling so that it's not there anymore. First, I'm going to put my Gorilla Glue here, and I really want to fill in this center port here. I have a bit of a mixture in here, but I'm going to need more. So all I do is take my DAP, kind of estimate how much I need. If you need more, you can just mix more. And then I also take my Gorilla Glue and I just squirt it in the mixture. There's no specific amount. I'm just going to put it in here. I'm going to stir it together. Before I apply it, I'm just going to take my finger. You can use a paintbrush. And I want to make sure that I'm getting my glue just above this edging here. So don't just keep it inside. All right, and I'm just going to take my DAP and mixture of Gorilla Glue, and I'm going to do a little bit of filling in here. So the ridge is here, and I want to move it past the ridge. I'm not trying to scrape the top. I have a lot of the DAP on here, and I'm just smoothing it out. And I'm pulling it on each side, just kind of over the edge. Do your best to wisp it, coming down the sides, thin it right out. You don't want to end up with a whole bunch of really thick edges. Now that everything's kind of in the right direction, I'm just going to use my fingers, and it just thins it right out down the sides. And again, it does not have to be perfect. I just don't want edges.
Jump into my candy land where dreams come true, where the nutcracker dances and the sugar plums do too. A sweet sensation that will make you smile. Grab a piece of bubble gum.
I'm just going to put these aside to dry, and in the meantime I'm going to cut out my bottoms to put on so that they have a base to sit on. I'm just going to take my X-Acto knife and start cutting.
Plum fairy in the sugar-coated world, let's make it merry. Sugar plum dreams.
Now I'm just going to grab my sanding block. This is just a little sanding sponge. It's a 100 grit, and this just takes the rough edges off.
Candy, where dreams come to be.
These are still wet. We're going to take our glue gun, go around them, and then sit these on top so that we have a base. My glue gun is ready. All I'm going to do is put it along the edges. If you do have a tiny little gap there, don't even worry about it. Take any spackling that you have left over and you can take a little bit and fill that in. See, like this is just a tiny, tiny gap. You can just take your mix of your spackle and glue that you used for the top. That is ready to dry. Here's my gumdrops. These ones here are dry at the top and they are looking pretty good. First, I'm going to cut the bottom. I have some edges that are sticking out at the bottom. It's really easy. So you're just going to take your scissors and run it along. And that's it. Absolutely simple. Because you don't want pieces like this stuck out. You will want sharp scissors for this though. Okay, so that one is good. The bottoms are all trimmed. That was really easy. Now I'm just going to take my 100 grit sandpaper. This is just a sanding sponge. It does not need to be a big deal or completely flat. I just want to take off anything that's kind of standing up so that it doesn't protrude through the clay when I put it on here later. So I'm very lightly sanding. And these have been drying for probably about 4 days. Just to make sure that they're dry. It can be deceiving when it comes to putting glue together with your spackle, wondering if they're actually dry or not. Do you see how I'm not worried about little indents or anything like that? As long as you make your clay thick enough, these little bits will not matter. You just don't want anything that's going to jut out on you. All 3 of these are done. These little garbage cans I found at Dollarama. If you don't find them in the garbage can section, go look at the bathroom section. These are great. They're just a lovely large size. I'm going to clean all this up. I'm going to take a damp rag, make sure there's no dust on here, and we'll go from there.
Now here's the question for today. These gumdrops are made using pastel colors. What I'm wondering is, what is your favorite palette of colors to use at Christmas? Leave your answers in the comments below, and I can't wait to hear your responses.
Cleaned up my area and just dusted this off. To cover this now, I'm going to use BOHS Foam Clay. It's the 3-pound bucket. It's nice and stretchy if you haven't used it before. It's a lot of fun. And I just get that off Amazon. I've taken a bunch out and I've already started kneading this. You do need a nice big chunk, because what I tend to do when I do these by mistake is make them a bit too thin. And then when I drape over the clay, as it naturally falls, it starts pulling along these edges. And I've never had any of them cracked. So I want to make sure that I keep this nice and thick, especially in this middle top portion, as it's going to kind of fall down over top of the gumdrop. It's quite a big chunk. I would probably say it's about half that bucket. And now you can see I'm using white and not a colored. And you can paint the clay once it's dry.
Paint and glue, scissors do, got to get crafty. That's what we do. Fake bakers on a mission. We're in this.
Just kind of want to find my center point here. Some people will put this clay, because it's nice and wet, right over top of here, and it could be perfectly fine to stick, but I don't like to go through all this work and use this much clay and not glue it together. So I'm always one that will glue to the base. I always use my Gorilla Original glue, and that's what I use to coat the base. I'm going to use my paintbrush just to spread it all over and even down in here. Just going to show you here, and then I'm going to take it away from the screen because I don't want my glue dripping on top of my clay right here. And I need to keep my clay here. That's what I'm going to do around my whole gumdrop. See how it's dripping? Okay, I'm going to take this off the camera. So I had mine sitting on a paper towel over here.
And glue, scissors do, got to get crafty. That's what we do. Fake bakers on a mission. We're in disguise.
Very slowly. We're hoping for the best, that we're in the middle the best we can. And now I take these ends and I'm flipping them outwards. For me, that's the easiest way. I'm not pushing here. You don't see me pushing. I'm just going to bend these in. And I'm letting the clay naturally fall and take shape around the base below it. Okay, so you can see, being the foam clay, as you watch it and the way it's slowly taking shape, you can see why I said it pulls a bit up here, because that's what happens when it starts to hang. So you got to make sure that it's thick enough up here that it's not going to split or crack or anything like that. Okay, and if you have any that you can take off right now, like I have a bunch here, I'm going to take this off. Take your scissors, snip it off, and put it back into your container. And that right now, I'm just doing a rough cut. I want to make sure that I have lots to go around because I have cut it too short at times. It's no fun trying to add clay to this because it doesn't work all that well. Oh, I'm going to start pushing from the top because I want to make sure there's no air trapped. And slowly pushing down the sides. I have to keep lifting.
Dusty shelves we browse around, looking for gems we can crown. Old things new hands can revive, making fake bakes come alive. Plaid shirts and worn out jeans, vintage finds, you know what I mean. We'll paint and shape and redesign. Turn the
So this is not a fast process. It's like you're sculpting it around your base. But you just do the best you can to lay this as flat as you can around everything. Too much here. So I'm going to take some of this off. So just be gentle and not being rough at all.
buttons and lace, old and torn, with some love they can be reborn. Sprinkle glitter, add some flair, creating treasures everywhere. Hustle, bustle, craft and spree, our imagination running free. Glittering gumdrops piled high, so sweet. Whimsical colors like a Candyland tree. Friends by the fire, feeling warm inside, as the snow falls softly on this magical night. Gumdrop trees standing tall and proud, houses made of candy, so cozy and round. Fairies fly and dance with joy in their eyes, in this fantasy world where dreams can't hide. Let's taste the sweetness of the sugar delight. Gumdrops on our tongues like fireworks in the night. Together we'll sing a Merry Christmas cheer in this gumdrop wonderland, where love is near.
It is looking really, really, really good. Just gonna take that off. Have this go up. I do like to add a little bit more glue just down the side here to make sure that that little styrofoam edge gets it.
Get crafty, that's what we do. Fake bakers on a mission.
Because I don't want anything kind of puffing out the bottom. And then that's it. I just do one little round in here. We're going to gently fold this over, but I'm not going to push or stretch this edge. Okay, I'm folding over, folding over. Just keep doing that, folding over. And I'm just being gentle with this upside down. I'm not pushing down on this at all. Okay, just gonna keep doing this.
And glue, scissors too, got to get crafty, that's what we do. Fake bakers on a mission.
You're gonna get pieces here to cut off as well. Just Make sure you don't cut them too short, because they'll be much smaller pieces, or should be.
Creating masterpieces, stealing our hearts. Cheesy smiles and secret winks. Tandy on the TV.
This is the palm of my hand now.
Glue and glitter on my hands. Crafting shoes and rubber bands. Late nights all for this. Dreaming big, can't miss. Painting paper everywhere.
You see any air bubbles up the side, you gotta push them up and out.
Heart in every piece I make. It's my chance that I take.
Remember, I don't want to thin around these edges really. So I can take what's left in here.
Got my heart on display. Can't wait for the day.
There's no glue underneath here to hold this part in, so I'm just kind of spreading that out, and then so that it'll stand properly.
Giving folks what they need. Ready for the show. Oh, oh, oh.
Again, I'm using the palm of my hand to go around now.
Heart on display. Can't wait for the day. Nervous hands got a smile.
Oh, that's looking great. Oh my goodness. I mean, really, that looks really, really cute. Okay, just gonna go down the sides. Sometimes there's air bubbles that sneak in there. You never know, so I'm just gonna make sure that all the glue is patting down the sides here. This is a big piece to put foam clay on. So whatever you do, don't use model magic. The foam clay is what you'll need. That's an actual air bubble right there. So I'm just gonna lift here. And so I'm just gonna try to take that air bubble out. Just taking Mod Podge, putting it over top, and it'll really help with any cracking, because sometimes you'll get cracking or little pieces like this because it's stretched, because this is a big piece. And the Mod Podge really helps if you put it on now, not later. It really helps to sort some of these things out. The other reason I'm going to put it on now, if you don't seal it before putting a chalk paint over top, the paint just all cracks. So we don't want that either. So for two reasons, we're going to just Mod Podge this immediately. To allow this to dry, I use either like my Mod Podge, sticking on there. So I sit it on top like this. Now I can get underneath it. So I'm going to move this, set it over to dry. And since I do want to paint it, I usually wait. The clay will expand and you don't want your paint cracked. So I'll be waiting a few days, maybe even a week, before I decide to paint this.
Crafting with a twist. Fake big diary.
Take a look at our tall gumdrop. You don't have to worry about any little nicks and crannies. They'll get pretty much covered up when we put our sugar on top. This is just looking so good. I love the shape of this one. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is use this candy pink from Apple Barrel from Walmart.
Walking down the street, eyes on the prize. Searching for the treasures in a vintage disguise. Gonna upcycle tonight, turn old into bright. Thrift store finds fake bakes from the mine. Racks of old.
I'm gonna let this dry, put on a second coat, and then we'll come back to sugar it up. We're back. Our gumdrop is looking great so far. Once this was all dry, because I dried it like this, I flipped it over, I just added a little bit more clay, and then I painted everything in that bubblegum pink. It just looks super duper cute. Next, I'm going to put the sugar on. I decided just to do the bottom first on this one. I don't really think it matters whether you do the bottom or the sides first, but I do find they have to be separate. These here, I got at Michael's. These are a BOHS filler, and I find they work really well as little sugar cubes. They are nice and clear and they work really well. And I'm going to combine that with some snow glitter. So this is a really fine glitter, and that is from Michael's as well. So you can put as much or as little multiple of these as you like. I'm just using this tray to catch everything, and I put the wax paper over top because the glue that I'm using, when it gets on things, it's hard to get off. If I really want something to stick and it's plasticky like these, I use this Gorilla Glue, and then you just start putting the glue on. I use a paintbrush over anything else because with the foam, you'll find there's little crevices, and you want to get that glue right inside those little crevices.
Grab my tools, I'm ready to go. Crafting is how I let my soul glow. Therapy's pricey, it ain't.
All the glue is on. There's a really nice layer of glue on here, and I just have to make sure that I cover all the spots. The reason I use the original Gorilla Glue is because it does not melt foam. So this is the clear original.
I barely know. Tammy on the fake diaries on my TV. She inspires me with every beat. My worries disappear. Crafting wheels, it's crystal clear.
And you just decide how much you want to put on. It's totally up to you. If you find it too sticky, you can do one side at a time.
I find my peace with each crafty friend.
So I'm going to put on the glitter mixture that I have with the BOHS filler. And don't worry about it turning so white. So much of this falls off. Like don't worry about that. It will not look white in the end. It'll just look glittery.
She woke up early, kids still asleep, dreaming of a place where she can just be. Husband calling out, but she needs a break. One single day for her sanity's sake. Lock me in the craft room just for a day. Fake bake diaries gonna take me away.
So on the top, I'm gonna have to put a little bit more glue. The reason it won't stick now, and the reason I put just the glass filler with no glitter in it on first, is because if you use just your glitter's the smallest piece, and it will cover all your space, and your bigger pieces, which is your BOHS filler, they just won't stick. Whenever you're glittering something or putting items on like this to decorate, start with your biggest pieces and then put your smaller pieces on to fill in all the holes if you're shaking something on like this.
Lock me in my craft room just for a day. Fake bake diaries gonna take me away. Take me away.
That is looking really, really good. I don't want to tip it. Yeah, I don't want to tip it because I don't want anything falling off. I'm just going to let this dry right here, and then I'll go back, and if there's any little places that I need to put glue, because it's a bit too hard to move, things are moving around a bit right now, so if I have any other spaces, I'll just put a little bit of glue, do the same process over again. In the end, you can shake off any of the excess glitter that you have on here, and then put it all back in your container for next time. So this is how you make your basic gumdrop.
Now, if you're looking for different ways to decorate the tops of your gumdrops, I'll leave a link below for a video that I made showing how I made different tops for our rounded gumdrops. And if you want to know how to make the rounded gumdrops, I also have a video on those, and they are made in a completely different way than how we made these. So check that one out too.
Crafting with a twist, fake big diaries, where dreams come alive like fairy tale stories. Glittering gumdrops, that's our secret prize. Flat secret prize, fluffy colors.